Norm Duke, Pete Weber in the booth at the same time. Hall of Famer Randy Pedersen as well. We got 3 of them in the booth right now. I don't know if we've had that ever.
This last segment was probably the funniest segment since we've been doing this with Don and Steve. So we like to keep that ball rolling. And we just got done talking about Mike Miller stories. And you guys have all, you guys have all been, you know, when he did the ball change in Wichita, we talked about that. Okay. The stories are so over the top and crazy that you can't even describe them. And
no, you can't.
Do you have a really good Mike Miller story that you can talk about? Probably not.
Probably not that I could talk about.
Yeah, that you could talk about.
Did you tell the one where Kirk told him he couldn't bowl in the jeans?
Oh,
so he
no, that's so good.
Kirk went down and told.
Start from the beginning.
Mike Miller wanted to go in and practice, so he's practicing on the lanes. And
now remember that we have like 6 lanes or so curtained off with the pipe and drape, right?
And so the public can't see him.
Right.
So Kirk Von Kruger, the tournament director, goes down to him and says, "Mike, I'm sorry, but you can't practice in jeans." So what does Mike do? He pulls his jeans down, standing there in his underwear, practicing.
Bowling in his underwear. Takes his jeans off and just keeps bowling.
Jeans off and start practicing in his underwear.
Well, you guys know that Mike never really liked to have family members or ladies in the locker room. So as soon as a lady would walk in the locker room, I don't care how old, he would drop his pants to his ankles just to make him feel uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We were in Bay City, Michigan. I'm not going to mention the center, but
that was a hard one.
we were on the paddock area, and they were very nice. They put an external paddock in for us. And there's a few of us in the paddock, and this gentleman came walking in. He's going ahead and trying to get some guys sign some autographs, and Miller looked over at him, shook his head, and I knew nothing but bad was going to happen.
Oh, boy.
So the guy comes walking up and says, "Aren't you Mike Miller? Do you bowl with no thumb?" "Absolutely right, sir. Did you watch me bowl today?" He goes, "No, I didn't get a chance." "Well, you should have watched the 4th game. I switched balls." He turns around, and he had his package hanging out right there.
No, no, you didn't.
Swear to God.
Oh, my gosh.
How come that doesn't surprise me any?
Norm's dying.
Norm?
Oh, I like that.
He was probably the best at the pranks and
just of all time.
So creative.
Of all time. In fact, he's the most missed bowler I've ever seen in my lifetime.
I mean, it would just come out of left field, too. It's like you never expected it. Nothing, you know, it would just be a normal, typical day, and then all of a sudden it was like getting hit by a bus, right? Here comes Miller with something crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just a mile a minute, and always had something to do.
Yep.
Yeah. He was very entertaining for the pro-am bowlers, too. I mean, he's doing his Gumby thing on the foul line.
Do you guys remember this? Remember how when you made the top 24 and we had to march out for every squad, that last squad, that night block, you know, everybody would march out, and then Harry Golden would announce, you know, each pair and the matchup for that starting, that last block and whatnot. Mike Miller shaves his mustache to where he had just a little Hitler mustache right here. And he comes out, and he's got this little Hitler mustache. This is a true story. And when they get to his pair, they introduce Mike Miller from Albuquerque, and he stands up and he shoves his hand out and he goes, "Z Kyle."
I was in that finals, and I was on my knees laughing.
I mean, it's that kind of zany stuff that he used to do that would just, I mean, would absolutely kill us. You couldn't just, I mean, it wasn't just a chuckle. You laughed until you were crying.
We would want to know how long it took him to think these things up.
Yeah.
Do you do it in your dreams?
Right?
In the shower? Where do you think about all this?
So he goes back to the because you know he had a motorhome out on tour. So he goes back to the motorhome in between blocks, and he's thinking to himself, "Hey, maybe it would be great if I shaved my mustache to a little Hitler mustache, and then gave the German salute when they introed me tonight."
If I remember right, didn't he even have his hair combed over the whole thing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable. He came walking into the paddock. I'll never forget
He
it.
had the hairdo to match the mustache, that's for sure.
So why'd you change your rug, bro? Never mind, okay?
He was so funny. Unmatched by anyone. Now, Charlie Tapp and Joe Hutchinson were a pretty good team.
Joe Hutchinson, I think he learned everything from
Hutch.
Joe.
Hutch was pretty good.
Oh, my God, he was hilarious.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of comb-overs, and like we're all turning 50, right? I mean, like we're all getting old. Who had absolutely the worst comb over?
Harry Golden.
Harry Golden?
Oh God, his rug that he wore every day.
Yeah.
the tournament director. Like, nice rug, Harry.
Yeah, he had a bad tube. But he knew it. He knew it. It looked like a dead beaver on his head.
It really did.
Like a beaver pelt.
Sometimes it looked live.
Dave Sutar. Hey, Dave Sutar had a bad rug too, didn't he?
Soupy, yeah, not good. Not great, yeah.
Okay.
So let's
That was
get
actually a chia pet.
Have we offended enough people yet?
hey, so getting back, hey guys.
I'd like to say hi to Soupy. He's watching live.
Please keep buying our balls, Soupy. We love
So getting back to Joe Hutchinson and Charlie Tapp, this is one of their stories, you know, along the theme of the Mike Miller zaniness. So they're telling this story when they get to qualifying the morning block. They just came from breakfast, and so we're all in the locker room, and they start talking about how their morning went at breakfast and how it was interrupted inappropriately by this elderly couple. And so Joe Hutchinson's like, heck, it figures, this has got to happen before I start this morning block. So of course we're all curious as to what happened. And so he said, Joe, what happened? He says, well, we were standing in line to pay the tab and I broke wind. And the old man looks at me and goes, hey, you just broke wind in front of my wife. And Joe turns to him and says, I didn't know it was her turn.
hey, you crazy guys. Yesterday we had the sanitized version of Tim Mack. Today we're going to let it all hang out. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tim Mack joining the booth. Come on in, Timmy.
Oh, boy.
Listen, we don't want any tearjerker stories here. We want some real meat right now, okay, baby?
Hey, and let me just do a quick reset, guys. Here at the Storm booth, live from Bowl Expo, we've got 5 bowling balls we're going to give away. If you want to contact us, it's the email marketing@stormbowling.com. If you win, we'll give you all the details about the free giveaway, the bowling ball giveaways that we're going to be doing. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Joining us, this motley crew of crazy people, is Tim Mack. Timmy was very democratic yesterday in talking about being the Bahrainian coach and all of his doings over in the Middle East. Today he's taking the gloves off along with the rest of us, and so now it's just getting down to business there. Tim, thanks for joining us again. What's on your agenda?
Well, listen, I heard the laughter from about 30 feet away, and I had to come over and see what all the laughter was about. And coming over here and listen to some of the old man stories is actually quite funny. But I've got a couple of my own, but I really don't know which topic to start at because with Hutch and some of the people you're referring to, they bowled with my father, and my father bowled out on tour, and obviously he had a couple of stories as well. So in the social media network today's day and age, we've got to be a little bit more careful with what is said and not said, and what is accepted and not accepted.
Well, I just kind of keep thinking about the Howard Stern radio show, and I'm thinking if as long as I don't cross that line, I'm probably okay, and they're on the radio, so I think we're probably all right.
I think we should just go below the belt every time and not worry about
you guys just want to go straight cable?
Right.
Who wants to drop the first F-bomb? Let's go. Norm, you start.
Yeah, Norm, you can start. I'll follow.
It could get a little dicey in here, I can tell you. It's not often I get on the mic and I've got 3 Hall of Famers sitting on the mic with me. It's very fair. I'm in privileged company right now.
Yeah, and he's actually showing respect too.
Yeah,
that's
I'm just starting it out right. I've been here only about a minute and a half online. So
He's got to get warmed up. He's got to get
3 minutes from
first.
now. It's gonna be on.
Corbett's a little nervous over there. He's got the shuffle going. He's hearing us.
Vice President Corbin Austin's over there. He won $2,500 last night. Mike Moniak from South Point runs the bowling center. Mike, get over here. Just stick your head in here real quick. This guy is
Mike,
the best.
say hi.
He takes care of us all the time over at South Point. It's a great facility, South Point Hotel and Casino, great bowling center. I love Mike Moniak in South Point.
Mike Moniak right here with me right now. Listen, Mike, the bowling center is nothing but the best. You guys do the great for the bowlers there. But the casino downstairs is awful. I got to be honest with you. I can't win a
Timmy,
cracker.
Timmy, but one thing you love.
They love you though, Timmy. They love you.
Timmy, don't come for you anymore.
The hottest ATMs in Vegas.
I'll tell you what.
Yes, they do.
There's one thing that pays every time. That my 4-pin digit code.
Yeah.
I get money out every time.
Yeah.
Until my 24-hour limit is up, then all of a sudden, I'm scraping around. I'm outside with a cup on the corner, and it's not for coffee. I can tell you.
And Mike Moniak used to bowl on tour with us. And Mike, we've been sitting around talking about Mike Miller stories and Hutchinson and Charlie Tapp stories, and I know that you remember those guys and how crazy they still are. Do you have any really good, fond maybe a funny story that you can share with us?
Oh, geez. Other than the fact that crossing a hutch, you needed Xanax to get through it. And probably the best thing about Miller is I actually saw him one day when he hadn't combed his hair and we didn't recognize him.
Yeah, nice. We were talking about how he shaved his mustache like Hitler, and then when he got introduced, he put his hand up and said Zeke Heil, and just had the comb over going. And, I mean, he's just so gone.
I just loved it back in the day when we were bowling. I mean, back then he threw it straighter than I did, so I actually looked like I had revolutions. So.
Randy, I got to chime in real quick. I was just thinking about a story about the Japan Cup, and obviously
easy.
And I haven't bowled there. And the only reason I'm reminded of this is because I've seen a lot of the guys wearing white pants this week, and I just walked by Brian Voss, and I think he had some sort of story with white pants in the Japan Cup.
Oh, you guys remember that?
And I don't know quite what it was all about, but I do remember.
You can see it plain as day.
There were some issues there.
Yeah, go ahead. Who wants to fire? Norm.
Oh yeah.
I'll let you get in trouble.
Brian and I were.
See you, Mike.
Mike Monyak, thanks for joining us.
Brian and I were having a little fun night before the last round, and we were both buried in the cellar.
Fun? That's code for you
so,
were drinking.
So Brian, he's not feeling very good, and he goes into the bathroom, and all they had was the squatter. They didn't have the sitter. They just had the squatter.
Can you explain for people that have never been
explain that.
Can you explain what that is?
That's a hole in the floor that you got to squat over to do your business.
Right. Yeah, there's no sit down there.
No. Don't spray mud or you're in trouble.
Oh, that's not
so
good.
Brian's got white pants on. And he squats, and he does what Tim Mack just said. Sprayed some sort of...
Sprayed the mud.
Yeah.
This has gone south so fast.
So then he comes out of the bathroom, and he's got this football-shaped mark right up his...
Right in the middle.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say it, up his crack.
Right up his rapacostras. And he had to bowl 8 games with this mark. And, this is Brian Voss. This is one of the most, he's one of the most beautiful people on earth.
And by the way, they weren't just white pants. They were white linen pants.
It was not a very, and I remember Ferraro and I having a moment together where we just were hurting. We were laughing so hard at the face that Brian had on that morning because he was not the happiest person.
He had to bowl the entire match play.
The whole entire match play.
Like with that. It had to be uncomfortable.
He bowled pretty good.
I'm sorry, but we're picking on Brian Voss.
Stop it, Pete.
Didn't Randy Pedersen have a little incident?
Oh, I remember yours hanging from the highline wire.
You lost your underwear and went flying out on the.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, on the electrical lines.
I'm not going there. As that nose goes Pinocchio-wise.
Well, I too had an incident where we were coming out of the locker room, and the locker room was on the 7th floor. The bowling center's on the 7th floor of the high rise. The locker room was on the 8th floor. And so I come out of the locker room, and I've got to go. And there's a bathroom right outside the locker room. And so I go in, and the Western style bathroom is out of order. So my only other option's the Indy 500 oval racetrack that sits in the floor of the squatter. And I've never used one, have no idea how to use one. And so I go in there, and I have no time to get downstairs. So it's now or it's going to be ugly. And I'm surveying the situation, and the only thing that came to my mind was the only chance I had was to disrobe. And that'll be the end of the story.
No, I'm going to finish the story.
No, you don't need to.
He splattered dirt, took his underwear, and didn't know what to do with them. So Randy, in his infinite wisdom, decides, I'm going to throw them out the window in a empty.
Randy, in your defense, this was 30 years ago.
In an empty, it was like a hallway outside. It was just, well, he throws them out the window. They get stuck on a highline wire about the 4th floor. And Randy starts laughing. He gets all the players. Now we're all looking out the window. We're looking at Randy. Everybody down 7 floors below starts hearing the ruckus, so they look up. And they're seeing the underwear wrapped around the pole.
Oh, my God.
It was a classic.
I'll never look at him the same way again.
They were red Calvin Klein briefs.
Hey.
No, they weren't. They started out red. They weren't red.
Hey, the one thing about Voss, though, when that happened to Voss, he still got the chick, though, right? Because he's like a chick magnet.
There is nobody that could handle that type of morning like Brian did, and he handled it great.
I just want you guys to know something. It was really nice working with you. Because we are all so fun.
Oh, you're gone now.
Yeah, we're done. And that means, I mean, all of us. Louie, see ya. Norm, bye. You're gone. You out. You done.
All right, everyone. Well, we thank you. I think I've just been 86th.
There's 7 new openings at Storm, folks. We're going to do a giveaway now. Let's do a trivia question. Norm, are you leaving us? Thanks very much, buddy. All right, back to your hole. All right, so we're going to do a trivia question, and I'm going to. I got a trivia question I'm going to throw out there. How many major titles combined does Pete Weber and Norm Duke have? First answer wins.
On the chat line.
On the chat line.
And make sure Matt Martin knows the answer over there.
Matt Martin,
I know the answer.
I know the answer. Can I win?
The total majors, not total wins. Total major victories between the two.
And you're gonna
Pete, how many?
You're gonna win a bowling ball.
Pete, write down the answer.
I got a bunch of them. Go ahead. Give me your pad. I got it.
What's the answer? Oops, sorry.
This is like a Scantron test here. It's a math test. We're gonna give away a ball of your choice.
All right, can we give the answer out?
You know what? First of all, I want to say hey to Kenny out there, and I can't believe that Kenny hasn't called in and answered yet, because I know he knows the answer.
Well, they're coming in.
Kenny Seymour?
How many
Kenny
major
Seymour.
victories?
Thanks for listening, buddy.
Hey, can we give the answer now? Yes, please. All right, Pete, tell everybody how many total major victories that you have, that you and Norm have combined.
Drum roll, please.
Me and Norm have a combined total of
Chadwick over there, that a boy.
18
majors.
Is that sick?
Dun 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 dun
Man.
dun dun.
But what's cool about it is we have 7 or 8 U.S. Opens between us.
Well, you have 5 of them.
5. He's got 2 or 3. But still, that's
18 majors.
To have 2 guys on the same staff with 18 majors. That's got to say something for the company.
That's a bunch.
Yeah.
Did you say buttload?
That's a buttload.
Oh, okay.
To have 2 guys with 18 majors tell stories about Brian Voss's shorts.
I know. Is that good stuff or what? Could you imagine? I mean, this is really, truly giving the viewers insight as to a taste of what goes on in our locker room.
Well, you know,
I mean, where else are you going to get this?
I always, over the years, we're all about the same age. Over all of those years watching Voss, and that guy was such a chick magnet.
Oh yeah.
And all of us other just lonely cavemen walking around in the bowling centers.
Yeah.
And there's Brian Voss, and he's got the hottest chicks around him all the time.
Oh, just flock
What would
to
it be like to just have one day in that guy's in his life?
Brian would walk up to girls. Three of them would be standing in a row, and he'd walk up and go, "Win, place, show." I mean, that's just that was his thing. Right? All right, let's announce the winner of the bowling ball. Hey, what bowling ball are they winning, Matt?
Whatever ball they want.
The ball of this person's choice. This person is from Pittsburgh. Is anybody excited?
I am. I love Pittsburgh. I'm a Pennsylvania guy.
All right.
Love Pennsylvania.
How about Joe Hastings from Pittsburgh? Congratulations, Joe.
Nice job.
18 majors.
18 majors. That's
18
impressive.
That's a ton.
Yep.
I don't have 18 total titles.
And speaking of majors, let's talk a little bit about the one that, it was always, the Weber family never had a Masters, and Pete just got done winning a Masters, and I heard from Jim Callahan, and he said that he had never seen Pete with a better ball reaction, that it was just absolutely magical watching the ball come off his hand. Pete, tell us a little bit about it.
Hey, I was bowling right next to him. I watched it the whole tournament.
Well, it's just one of them weeks. I just got done bowling Milwaukee, and we bowled. The last thing I bowled on was the 52-foot pattern. So I was very straight through that, and actually on the show I started throwing the ball really hard to try and keep it more on the line. And here, the first squad, I just kind of struggled a little bit with my reaction, and I said, you know what, F this. I'm moving right, and I'm going to throw bullets, just like I did. And I started playing like 6, 7, 8, 9, right? Because I don't look at one specific board. I look at an area. And I feel if I hit that area, then I've thrown a pretty good shot. And I just threw BBs right up there, and my ball very rarely went high. I very rarely went light. I was in the pocket probably 9 or 10 shots a game, and I felt so good about the way I bowled and how I bowled. And Jimmy doing all the work that he did, like freshening my ball every squad.
And which balls were those, Pete?
I used 2 different disturbs. One with the pin up and the hole on my axis, one with the pin down and the hole down.
And speaking of disturbing, Randy,
Yeah, thanks. Listen, I was bowling. I bowled a term. Timmy, I'll turn it over to you in a sec. And I'm bowling. I bowled a lot next to Pete, and we had some matches that were close to each other. And you know, the last time the folks watched Pete win was the Tournament of Champions when Pete was playing 6th arrow and throwing the Goldie, and when he beat Belmonte. When Pete was bowling the Masters, Pete was firing it up like straight up 7-8, and so it's just a testament to his greatness and his versatility and what makes Pete Weber so great, being able to play all the angles. But the problem for me was I was bowling next to him, and I was watching Pete, and I was saying to myself, I can't beat that guy.
Well, nobody did.
Why am I here? I can't beat him. And I mean, Pete ends up winning the tournament. He struck out in the 10th frame to win matches. It didn't matter. He threw it so good. And just watching him and watching him do what he's doing at age 50 is pretty scary. And as a player, you never want to. I mean, you're never afraid of anybody because you know you've got a shot. If it's a one-game match or you get him in match play, you bowl him on the shot. I mean, I beat Amleto to win the title. I only had to bowl him one game. Amleto dominated the tournament, right? So you know, in a one-game match, over the course of a tournament, I'm saying to myself, I can't touch that.
Yeah, how do you do it?
Yeah,
right
it's amazing. Just to add to that, Randy, I got to be honest with you. I've known Pete for a long time. I actually watched him on TV growing up, and I've become great friends with him. You know, over the last 15 years, 20 years, it's been fantastic. You know, I've seen Pete Weber bowl for a long time, and you know, this may be the greatest Pete Weber we've seen.
I agree.
It's pretty scary.
Yeah.
I actually, part of me wishes that the PBA had the old formats because where we were bowling 25 tournaments a year. Because if that's the case, then as good as Pete is bowling, as good as Pete is feeling right now, you know, I think he could. I think he could have gone past Walter already.
Yeah.
You know, considering how great he's bowling right now, and that's something to say considering the career that he's had.
Pretty scary.
And what he's doing. So, I mean, if I'm Pete, obviously, and I'm in his shoes, you know, I got to feel pretty good about any tournament that I lace it up right now because I'm throwing it so good and I'm so comfortable and just in that zone. Now, as bowlers, as great bowlers, listen, we've all won a lot of tournaments in our careers, but when we're in that zone, we just want to, you know, ride that wave. You want to stay on that wave as long as we can, and we've had he's had lots of waves, but I got to think this wave is probably the biggest wave he's had in the last 25 years.
Yeah,
I got to think.
Physically,
this is one of my best years as far as bowling wise, and being ready to bowl when I need to bowl, performing when I need to perform. That's something that, you know, before was kind of skeptical for me. Maybe didn't when I wanted to, I would, but now I want to perform all the time because my mind is straight, my body's in good shape. I have the best bowling balls in the world to throw, so why shouldn't I be doing this?
And you know, pretty good combination of these guys.
Hang on, quick question, Pete. You just said you're having one of the best years, if not the best year of your career. In a lot of people's opinions, you got cheated out of Player of the Year back in 1987. You've never won a Player of the Year award. You've already got one major victory to your credit this season, and the U.S. Open's just a couple weeks away. Your thoughts?
I wish the U.S. Open would have been right after the Masters.
The winningest player in the history of the United States Open, Pete Weber, just a couple weeks away. You win that, that's two majors. I mean, that's got to be something you're thinking about.
I'm looking at it, Randy. I'm really looking at Player of the Year this year. I've actually started taking it a little more seriously, too. I'm spending, like before Milwaukee, I spent a little more time with my brother to make sure I was ready to go. Before the U.S. Open, I'll spend another week with him. Hopefully he has nothing to say to me, because when he has nothing to say, that's a good thing for me.
Yeah.
But
I got to be honest with you, Pete. I think I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think him winning the Senior Masters
I was just going to bring that up.
Has to be in the mix for Player of the Year.
Do you?
Absolutely.
I got to believe that.
Pete winning. It's a great debate for the folks watching at home. Does Pete's Senior Masters win, should it count towards his credibility this season?
No question about it. And listen, I think it's right now it's a two-horse race.
Guys, you're very kind about that, but yes, it is a major title, and it is on the senior tour. So I don't really think that the bowlers should take that into effect of what happens to the Player of the Year race with me. I would, if I win because of that, I'm going to be upset. I would rather win it from the national tour guys.
You can wrap it all up at the U.S. Open,
I
right?
get that, but I still think it should count.
I agree with you, Randy. I agree.
It's still bowling.
It's a great tournament. It's a major championship.
Listen, it's still bowling, and just because Pete's eligible for the senior tour, you can't fault him for that.
Exactly.
He goes out and wins the senior masters. He also won the Tournament of Champions on the regular tour. And I think that needs to count.
Yeah. I agree.
Right?
I agree.
All right, live from Bowl Expo at the 2013 Bowl Expo at the Storm booth. We are having one hell of a time here. We got Don Mose, Randy Pedersen, Pete Weber, Mike Chadwick, Tim Mack, Matt Martin, and the great Mike Flanagan. Having a ball. We're giving away balls here. We have lots of customers. Randy, have you ever seen it this busy at the Storm booth?
No, this is the busiest I've ever seen at the Storm booth. Yesterday was crazy. Don, I know you've got some duties you got to take care of. Buddy, it was a blast. Thank you so much for stopping
Randy's
by.
pleasure. Thank you, Pete.
Great
Always
having
a
you,
buddy.
Don, always a
Thank
pleasure,
you,
my
buddy.
friend.
Thank
Always
you.
a pleasure.
I'd just like to make a shout out to all of our troops overseas. God bless you all, and thank you for taking good care of us. Take care, guys.
Well said, Don. Thank you very much.
Fine American, Don Mose. Fine American. Hey, we did have a question. There was a guy named Duck Savant, and he said, and I know you don't like to talk about this, Pedersen, but Duck Savant asked a question. Does Randy still have any of the CDs left around when he was a country star for those few years back?
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, I had to ask the question.
Country star.
It's a long story.
I actually have that CD in my collection.
I do as well.
And often when I'm in the bathroom, I try to match it, but I just my pitch is a little off. But I'll tell you what, Randy Pedersen is a jack of all trades. There's not much he can't do.
And a master of none. Thanks.
You can throw it up one, you can hook the gutter, and you can sing that tune.
Hey,
like
Flanagan, what's the beat here? What's all going on?
Well, I've been walking around on the Bowl Expo floor, and I've got Norm Duke coming back over here because I was over there hanging out in his booth. He's here with Next Level, and he's got these DVDs that he's done, and we actually gave one away on InsideBowling.com like a year and a half ago. And his instructional DVD is excellent. He's going to come back over, and when Norm gets here, which is just going to be a couple of minutes, he was going to jet right over. He's grabbing the DVD. We're going to give him a little plug for Next Level. He's going to give us our next trivia question to give away that bowling ball. So when Norm comes over, Timmy, if you can step aside for a second and come right back in, that's how we're going to do that.
And I have watched that DVD, and there is probably not a finer one out there. Rhino Page has one out. Norm Duke's DVD, it's vintage Norm. Norm is talking not like some guy that who's won all of these titles. He's getting right down to the bare bones. And the whole key for all of you guys, Weber and Pedersen and Tim Mack and all the great bowlers, is how do you make and talk to bowlers in a way that they can understand, because not everybody has the hand and the footwork and all of that. And that's the whole key.
Yeah, absolutely. Randy Pedersen, Pete Weber, myself, Mike Chadwick, great job clicking the cameras over there, Timmy Mack, Louie Wemett. We're just getting started here at Bowl Expo today. We're about halfway through the day. And Pete, I've been listening to you guys. Pete, just from me personally, knowing you, living up the street from you, what you've been able to do over the last year, I know we've been talking about it. I'm really proud of you, buddy.
Thank you, Mike. It's totally different, the way I feel now and the way I felt like 15 months ago. It's just a lot better feeling. I'm a lot healthier. I think better.
And you're not as cranky in the interviews when I'm out there. I've been around him long enough that all I have to do is look at his eye and I'm like, all right, get the hell out of here, Louie.
I'm not sure.
Cut cameras. Off right now. I just saw a bird.
Tracy did it on TV.
Vintage PDW.
Hey, we're not on a 10-second feed here. We got to be careful. What's showing on the camera and not, right?
Oh, hey, and by the way,
remember,
guys,
there's not a beat button either.
I would like to make a little announcement to the inside bowling world.
Okay.
I have been nominated for the 2013 ESPY Award.
That's right. We've been talking about it. Congrats, Pete. Congrats. Give it up.
And we need people to get online and vote for me, please.
Vote for PDW.
And also, I manage Pete's fan page for him. You can go over to PDW Bowling on Facebook and check out Pete Weber Bowling. And there's a link on there on how you can vote. We did that earlier today. I told you guys, I was out walking around the floor, and Norm just tickled me a little bit and got me so excited about this DVD. And I said, well, get yourself back over here. We got to talk about this. And he's going to give us a trivia question as well. Norm, welcome back.
Can you imagine if I'd have done the PDW deal? Like, my name is in AD. And then all my signs would say "Go Nad."
Go Nad.
Go Nad.
See, I thought about that.
Are you going to be with Penn and Teller? Are you opening for Penn and Teller this week?
No.
Oh,
no,
okay.
I'm not opening for anybody.
I think they could pull you right out of a hat.
I want to know whose garage we're all going to be living in when we lose our jobs.
Listen, just when you think you've seen everything, then you get in the 702 area code, you come to Las Vegas, and something comes out of the woodwork.
Yeah, right?
Go Nad. There you go, baby.
I'll tell you what, well, Go Nad is with Next Level Bowling as well, and I was just over with Norm. I was checking out his booth. We gave away a DVD, like I said, on Inside Bowling a couple years ago. And
we're going to give another one away today.
Okay.
So trivia question for a Norm Duke Learn to Bowl Competitively DVD.
And we're going to combo that with a bowling ball from Storm. So we'll give both now.
Oh, we're going to give both right now.
We have to give 5 away during this, and we're running behind.
You get the Storm ball, and then you get to learn how to throw the Storm ball all in one fell swoop.
It's the perfect package.
Trivia question.
You got to come up with this one. It's got to be deep.
And Norm, we
need
need you to write the answer on here so Matt can announce the winner.
Now, has this got to be a Storm trivia
You can
question?
ask any question you want, Norm.
All right, I'm going to go with the Walter Ray trivia question. He has 7 PBA Players of the Year. How many World Horseshoe Pitching Championships does he have as well?
How many?
I know the answer.
Write it down for me real quick.
Okay, I got to write that down. Hold on.
Yep,
Hey,
write
Norm,
down the answer.
Hey, Norm, when do I get my damn DVD?
For $39.99, you can purchase that.
It's a show special.
He takes credit cards, cash, and
Tracy's still waiting for her autographed CD.
Tracy Weber wants an autographed DVD from me. I don't think so. She got a BDW.
Hey, here's a good story.
Yeah.
We're staying at Norm's house. And Tracy wakes up in the morning. She goes up to the top of the stairs, catches Norm right in his skivvies. Right in his skivvies.
There I am, and she
loved every minute. She said, "I see Norm Duke in his skivvies."
Yeah, she laughed out loud too.
What is a Speedo? Did he have a Speedo on? Is that
no? She laughed out loud though.
No.
Hey,
what's that trivia answer again?
Hey, there's the other part of the trilogy of Claremont, Florida.
Claremont,
Jason Couch.
the other third Claremont.
The other third of the trilogy. Jason Couch, everybody.
Let's just get Jason Couch over here.
Hey, Couch, stick your head in here over here for a minute.
Jason Couch, ladies and
Jason
gentlemen.
Couch.
Oh my God!
Look what you started.
Jason Couch, take this mic, please.
Hello, Mr. Weber.
Hi, Mr. Couch.
Hey,
how are we doing, sir?
Look what you started, right? You had to say something about Claremont, and then Norm moves there, and then I moved there, and the whole town's gone to hell.
Yeah, but you have to understand that me and you live on the bad side of the tracks. Normie over there on the high society side.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. We can't even get to Norm's house. They won't even allow us in.
The butler never opens the gate. It's unbelievable.
There's no gate at my house.
Yep. If we get within 500 yards of Norm's house, we get arrested.
Correct.
What's going on, buddy?
Wow.
Just making some rounds, saying hello to some people.
Yeah.
And just hanging out.
It's always good to see you. You're like a breath of fresh air.
Come over to see my friend Timmy Mack. I don't like really anybody else here.
Yeah,
but Timmy's my boy.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm tired.
Goes without saying.
I've spent a lot of time with Jason in Las Vegas, and we were talking earlier with Mike Monyak at South Point Hotel and Casino, who's obviously so supportive of the bowling. And I'm not a big fan of the casino downstairs. Obviously, I'm tired of getting kicked in the teeth. But my boy here, he needs. We need to do something for him to kind of turn this around for him. He's.
There's a reason why South Point's building a new 64-lane center, and it would be this guy.
Jay, you need a slump buster.
Yeah, look that up, Mark Grace.
Yeah.
All right, the win.
Hey,
back to that trivia question to Norm. Take it over here, Norm.
Hey, well, we got a winner for the trivia.
Do we have a winner?
Yeah. So how many World Horseshoe Pitching
Horseshoe Pitching Championships 6 times is he World Horseshoe Pitching Champion.
Wow.
That's just amazing. How in the world can you get that world class at 2 sports simultaneously? I don't know.
Guy's got some sick hand-eye coordination.
Must have.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's almost as good as Randy winning the Grammy Award for that country song that he sang. You didn't win the Grammy, didn't you? I thought you did. Okay, I might be wrong. I'm sorry. I might have got that wrong. I'm sorry.
Randy's been on more red carpets than Susan Lucci.
How about I announce the winner of the bowling ball?
Yep.
And another Pennsylvania person, Tim Mack, from Bangor, PA.
Banger. That's right where my home
Is it pronounced Banger?
Banger. Yeah.
Banger. I guess it's Bangor, Maine, huh?
Bangor, Maine.
Banger. How about Jonathan Van Horn?
Jonathan Van Horn.
Way to go, Jonathan.
Congratulations.
He won the
Jonathan.
DVD. He won the
win
Norm
a
Duke
DVD?
DVD right here. And he also won the Storm Bowling Ball. and you can find out how to get
I'm sorry. It's Jay Van Horn.
Jay Van Horn.
Yeah.
Send it
Apparently,
over.
I'm not good at reading either.
Send it over to our marketing at stormbowling.com to claim your prize. Matt will get you all taken care of. He's back here working hard.
Hey, everybody. Speaking of, well, I can't go there, but I was going to say
guy
bangers.
here,
but
you can't put a microphone near
Speaking of bangers, but listen, this guy used to be a boxer. And speaking of Hall of Famers, not only do we have Norm Duke, Pete Weber, Tim Mack, we have a Hall of Famer, USBC Hall of Famer. Once a Marine, always a Marine. Stone Cold Bob Hart.
Stone Cold Bob Hart.
You better be good, Jimmy, because once a boxer, always a boxer, too.
Yeah, I'll take you out.
Hey, I got a question for you guys.
We're in different age groups and different weight classes now.
I got a question.
You've never been in my weight class in your lifetime.
Yeah, no kidding.
For Pete Weber, you know, Bob Hart here, you've known Bob, and he just recently won the Dick Weber Ambassador Award. Contrast Bob and your dad. What qualities does Bob have that remind you of your father?
A great ambassador for the game of bowling. Bob Hart, I've known Bob for probably good 35 years.
Long time.
And actually, when he was my partner in the Touring Players Seniors, probably the very first one, right?
That's when I got the nickname Sparomatic. I couldn't strike.
Boy, he made every spare possible. Well, that's where he got his. But Bob Hart winning the Dick Weber Award, standing next to last year's recipient of the Dick Weber Award, also Norm
Thank you.
Duke.
One of the greatest honors of my lifetime.
And I couldn't say anything to make it better for those two. They are two of the greatest people in the world, and really deserve.
I love it. I love it.
I'd like to
Dick
thank
Weber's
all of my
award.
Legion of fans. My
Mom.
mom.
You'd like to thank my dad for damn glad to see you again.
Yeah.
You know, when I accepted the award day before yesterday, I dedicated that award to your father. He was definitely the ultimate ambassador of bowling, and it wasn't my award. It was your dad's, and we'll never forget him.
Thank you, guys.
He's a great man.
It really is an honor to see two Dick Weber sportsmen or Dick Weber Award winners standing together.
Well, I got
That's
to work
pretty
with
cool.
your dad so many times when I was back in the day with AMF.
Yes.
And he was, and still is, the greatest ambassador that bowling has ever known.
Well, you didn't have to do nothing when you worked with him. He did
All
all the
yeah.
work. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I used to ask him, what are their names? He knew everybody's name in the whole building. I'd say, well, how many times you been here? I was here about 10 years ago.
Hey, he would too.
How do you do that?
Every time I saw
he had such a memory. It was amazing. We were bowling at the center in Denver, Colorado, and he said, "Let me show you something." And he went over there and he reached underneath one of those booths. He said, "That bubble gum is still there."
That wouldn't surprise me any either.
I had so much respect for Dick that I called him Mr. Weber. Every time I saw him, I called him Mr. Weber. It didn't matter how many times he said, "Randy, my name is Dick." It was always Mr. Weber. Well, he finally got tired of that, so he started calling me Mr. Pedersen. Every time he saw me, Mr. Pedersen. Hi, Mr. Weber. Mr. Pedersen. And that's just the way Dick was. He was the greatest ambassador our sport has ever known.
Right. Have you ever tried to tell Dick how good he was?
Oh,
he would not allow it.
No, he wouldn't let you go there.
He'd even ask you. He'd say, "Oh yeah, Norm, but how do you do this?" He'd start asking you your opinion.
Change the subject immediately.
Exactly.
But
but not only the greatest ambassador. Let's not forget the 26 times that he won on this tour.
30.
And
yeah, it's 30 because he got all of his all-stars.
30.
Finally, that's right.
Correct. Thanks for the correction there. The 30 times that he won on this tour. And we all remember Dick as the great guy that he was and the great ambassador. But when he was on the lanes, he wanted to rip your heart out. You just didn't know
absolutely.
it.
I heard him say hell once.
Yeah. I mean, he
was
hell.
And I thought,
fearless,
man, I
ferocious,
deserve that.
just one of the greatest players in the history of the sport.
I watched him make a 60-yard field goal with a ball return, so.
Nice.
Knocked me off my chair.
Nice.
That had to be
Listen,
the funniest thing
we're not
I
telling
ever
those
saw.
stories.
Dick Weber, and this is after he's been 50.
Kicked the ball return, really?
He'd ring 10 to miss a check. Son of a bitch. Bam!
Wailed on the ball. That's
Running
awesome.
start at the ball return. Bam! And the crowd is. And here I fall off my chair laughing, and people are looking at me. What are you laughing at? I said, because that's got to be pretty funny. Dick Weber kicking a ball return.
And then he said, "I'm going
to Mr. Nice Guy."
And then he said, "I'm going to try to teach that to my son."
Oh, he didn't have to teach
okay.
me. I already knew
Pete already knew that.
I probably taught it to him.
Yeah, Pete already had the 74-yard record.
Oh,
off the record, guys, what I thought one of the greatest things about Dick was, and obviously I was a little younger, but he was friends with my father.
All of this is on the record.
No, just off of what we were talking about, not what you guys are referring about kicking the ball return. He always made you feel like you were the most important person in the room. It was never about Dick. He always made you feel like you were the most important person, whether he bowled good or bad. And let's be honest, he bowled good a lot more than he bowled bad. But even when those small times, you were the most important person. It was never about him. And and that's something that I learned, as a young boy, meeting him and watching him, that I felt that it was very important, and hopefully that you try to do and you try to emulate. We try to emulate a lot of stuff of what your father has done, and I think you guys have done a fantastic job on and off the lanes. But the one thing I think is always make him feel like you're the most important person in the room, not about yourself. It's about that other person.
It's a great point.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Point. Well, listen, guys, I got a booth over here, Next Level Bowling. We got to go sell some clinics. Love you. See you later, Storm Nation.
Thanks, Norman.
Norm.
Norm Duke, guys.
I'll tell you the one thing that I think is my responsibility now working for Storm Bowling is I need to reach out to the David Letterman show, and we need to get Pete on there throwing it some television sets and throwing it some aquariums.
Do it in the summertime, because I saw the one he did in the winter. I don't want to be out there in the
No
winter.
question, Mike. I agree with you. I used to watch that, and I thought it was great, and it would just be perfect for Pete to carry that on, being the Weber name and being as great as a bowler as Pete is. It'd be fantastic.
I've got a Dick Weber story, but it involves Juanita.
Oh, that's all right.
Your mom. So we're bowling St. Clair, St. Louis. I think it was the last year we were on ABC,
right?
Or the last ABC show.
Yeah, that would be the last one.
And I was crossing. I was going from the high end to the low end, and I just came off of a crap game, and I'm PO'd, and I get down to the low end, and there's this. You know how you kind of get a sense of who's there, but no eye contact, and I know it's a lady. Don't know who she is, because I'm not looking at her. And all I hear is, as I'm carrying all my gear, the next pair, and I'm ready to just put my head through the ball return, and all I hear is something like, "Chin up, Randy, it'll get better." And I'm thinking, you know what? You need to shut up. And I don't say anything. And here's the best part. I don't even say anything. I just, that's what I was thinking. About 5 minutes later, a guy sits next to her. And I hear, "How's it going, Mr. Pedersen?" And I look up, and it was your mom and dad. And I was like, "You just dissed Juanita. How do you feel now, you jerk?" So I had to apologize to your mom. "I'm sorry, Juanita. I was, She goes, "Oh, don't worry about it, Randy. Just throw strikes."
She loves you to death, Randy.
Oh,
hey, Randy, I got a great Dick Weber story, too. Growing up in Iowa, and Dick Weber was always my idol, and Pete Weber was my idol, and they were just down the road in St. Louis. And I started working for Storm Bowling, and I did bowl in the Midwest region for a while, and I was always on Pete's brother John about going out to dinner. And John and I would kid around for like the whole year about who's taking who to dinner. And it got to be we were kidding around so much that nobody really took it, like we were serious. So one time John comes up and he says, "Hey, would you like to go to dinner tonight?" And I'm like, "Yeah, right, John." And he goes, "Yeah, me and Dad are going to be there. Meet us at the door at 6:30. I'm like, "Whoa." So I asked John, I'm like, "Can I bring Don Breeden with me," who was always, Dick Weber was always his favorite bowler. So we go to the restaurant. We're driving down the road with Dick and John and Pete and Don and I. And we had a few drinks. We had a couple glasses of wine, and Dick was getting a little loose, and it started to get real crazy. And I remember telling him, and I said, "How'd you bowl that day?" Because he bowled a senior regional. He goes, "I bowled pretty good." And I go, "You haven't bowled good since you bowled in that airplane 30 years ago."
Yeah, but the pilot really messed him up on that thing.
Every time Dad got ready to throw the ball on that plane, the pilot would tilt it just a little bit. Dad's like, "Why is my ball barely hitting the head pin?"
That's what I feel like. My ball's going uphill for 10 years.
The pilot had a bet on Shirley Garms. There's a trivia question for you.
Okay, hey, let's go ahead and do it as a giveaway.
Yeah, we got some stuff from Norm that Norm Duke left to
we can add
give
that
away.
to the package. We'll add it to the package. We need to give away another ball.
I bet this person's going to have to be really old to know this.
Well, that's fine.
But what was the final score of that match between Shirley Garms and Dick Weber at 10,000 feet?
Okay, and it's the two. We'll have them guess the two scores combined total. We'll go the two scores combined total. Closest to it for the next 2 minutes. Closest to it if they don't get it. Combine numbers together. and we'll get the closest to it. And Matt will do the best job he can with that, and we'll give away that ball and this Norm Duke stuff here, right here.
SG, obviously.
You know, we
Shirley
could tell
Garms.
a lot of stories about Dick. We could go on all day long about Dick and the stories about him, but I got to tell you, this guy right here, Pete, they have to come out and watch him work 12 hours on his feet signing autographs and the job he does, because, Pete, I have to tell you something. People really don't know what a good ambassador you are either.
They don't.
You know, you remember when we had the salute dinner to your dad?
Yes.
When we had 38 Hall of Famers in the same room at the same time, and at that time I mentioned the Weber legacy is far from over, and that's very apparent right now the way you've been bowling. And I want to give you a lot of gratitude for the way you treat the people, and it's really amazing. The fire in your eye and your heart and your attitude on that lane, you're out to win. But here, you got to come out and see him in person. He's a very good personality, and we're proud of you, Pete. Glad to have you on our team.
Storm's been so good to me over the years.
Yeah, buddy.
They ask me every year to come to this, and I do. Every year I come to the Bull Expo, and I sit there, and actually some people actually make the comment, well, you're nothing like you are on TV. You're a very nice guy. You're not the asshole that everybody thinks you are.
Hey, speaking of Storm being involved with so many things, there was just recently an event in Seattle that had so many Pro-Am entries. Randy and Pete, you guys were both there. Could you tell us a little bit about that great event the Storm was involved with?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you were saying. Peter was talking about.
Let me do this. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't need 440. I don't need 349. I need scores of what Shirley Garms shot and what Dad shot.
Okay.
On the airplane. What did Shirley's game end up as, and what did Dick Weber's game end up as?
All right, that's how Pete wants it,
Not a
everybody.
total.
That's got to be a tough question. I tell you what, that might be the toughest trivia question we've had so far.
But
I didn't even know they bowled on an airplane.
Well, we were talking about event Storm is behind, and Peter over here was letting us know about a great event that happened in Seattle that you guys were part of. Had about 600 entries in a Pro-Am.
Hey, let's get the word right from Peter. Peter, come in here. Peter. We got Peter Somoff, our international marketing consultant. Peter, step in here and tell us about one of your fine customers over here at the Storm booth. Here we go. Here's Peter.
There's an event that we sponsor once a year, and this guy's incredible. Randy's been there for an event. Pete's been there for an event. Carolyn was there this year.
That's the closest.
Wes Malott and Tom Baker was there last year. He gets, unbelievably, 400 to 500, and this year almost 600 Pro-Am entries for this tournament every year. It's incredible. So,
good stuff.
You don't ever hear of that. You don't ever hear of
Just
600 entries.
Yeah, for regional.
For regional, he's already working on next year. He's shooting for 600 entries next year. So
that's tremendous.
We bring players every year. They work their butts off. They're bowling 6-7 squads. So I just want to mention that we all, we look at the regional programs. We look at everything.
Has anybody get close to that trivia question by any chance?
There's been the one guy has very, very close. But other than that, everybody's about 80 pins too high.
Pete, I don't know if you were here earlier or not when the trivia question was asked, is what was the score that Shirley and Dick bowled in the airplane, the total score?
I thought it was Sylvia Ween.
No, not the total. No, it was Shirley Garms.
Oh, I think I know.
Yeah, Pete
I need to know what.
Both of them.
No, I don't want the combined score.
Pete want
what Shirley bowled and what.
Oh, the exact score.
Yeah. Well, we haven't got. One guy's been very close.
The exact score, and it's.
I think I know it.
The score is very close, just so you know, ladies and gentlemen. We won't tell you what the exact score is yet, but it is a very close score.
You're too high.
No, I'm not too high. What do you mean I'm too high?
Wow, we could take that a lot of different ways there,
Hey,
Peter.
careful. There's a microphone next to you there, Peter Somoff.
Hey, we already had that segment in the show earlier, didn't we?
For me.
We had that segment earlier in the show, didn't we?
Don't worry, you can join the cast of us people that just got fired from Storm because of what we've been saying on the air. It's up to 7 now. You can make you could be number 8.
We'll get to be a dozen before we're done.
The entire sales staff is done.
Oh, okay.
Fired.
So
they
Pete,
just lost 3 staffers, me, Weber, and Duke, done.
Pete, you're just watching the screen. You're just trying to figure out who it is.
I'm trying to see who's going to get the closest.
But hey, Peter, thanks so much for letting
Peter.
us know about that great event that that Storm puts on. Involved with so many different events, and Pete, you're involved with so many things too. You've been on the Best Damn Sports Show before. You've done a few other things, but Jamie Buckner also just checked in. You were just recently in a movie that's going to be coming out towards the end of the year. Split the movie. You and I went down to Louisville together.
Yeah. Making my big screen debut in this movie. It's called Split, and I'm not going to be in it very long. Just right at the end when she's doing her big thing. What
do you do? What do you do in the movie, Pete?
What do you mean big thing?
What type of big thing was she
Pete,
doing?
what do you do in the movie?
I just give the girl a little advice and kind of pick a ball for her and whisper into her ear.
But I'm going to tell you something. The way Pete delivered this was unbelievable. I mean, I got to see it on the screen and everything. It was awesome, and what a great crew. They were great to work with.
Oh, they made me feel so good about being there. They made me feel very comfortable. They didn't put any pressures on me or anything. I was very comfortable, and when I screwed up a little bit with my lines, the guy said, keep going.
Hey, how crazy was Jack Black? Was he whacked out?
Jack Black is
He's not in that movie.
Oh, that's the wrong movie?
Yeah.
I met Jack Black in Indianapolis at the Tournament of Champions and asked him about that, and he said, no, I had heard about it, but I wasn't invited to that. But supposedly there is going to be some sort of movie in the future with Jack Black as a bowler.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, real quick, guys. D. Jones, you need to send in your whole name.
D. Jones, in the chat. Send an email to marketing@stormbowling.com. You won yourself these Norm Duke prizes and a bowling ball of your choice. Just let us know what ball it is. Matt Martin's been working hard back there, and that's our third bowling ball giveaway. What time do we have over there?
D. Jones made 148 to 144. That was the closest answer. The actual scores were Shirley 145, Dick 144.
Whoa.
That's pretty close, actually.
For
Mr. Jones.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
That's the closest I've seen. Nobody's got it right on. So,
speaking of movies, and remember when the ESPN and the PBA were doing those commercials, and they had some of the guys bowling, and the one with Pete and Chris Barnes.
Oh yeah.
And what was so cool about that
Chris.
movie is, hey Chris, and Pete goes ahead and puts his finger on the reset button, and we won't say which finger it was.
I will.
But it was awesome.
It was the middle one.
Yeah.
They said do it like you do on tour, so I pushed the re-rack with my middle finger.
That was probably some of the best stuff when they had those commercials.
Yeah.
Those were great.
Guys, I got a meeting. I just want to say thanks for letting me come in the
Thanks, Timmy.
All right.
in the
All
booth.
right, you guys are
Love
still
being here.
guessing at
Thanks,
this.
guys.
We've
Thanks,
already
Timmy.
given
All
it
right,
away, so you guys can stop guessing now.
Well, guys, we really need to get to a break. We need to take about a half an hour break and come back. We're going to have Carolyn Doran-Ballard and some of the other folks from the USBC are going to come over and join us. Pete Weber, Randy Pedersen, you guys, Louie, what a hoot that was, those last couple of segments.
That was good. I'm glad we got to do this.
We really appreciate you guys doing all this. And those of you that were watching, we had the most viewers. We still have 2 more bowling balls to give away. We're going to give them away a little bit later when we come back. So we will get to those 2 more bowling balls. Stick with us here from Bowl Expo. Randy Pedersen, it's been a joy already.
Yeah, thanks. I just want to thank Pete again for joining us, and Pete's been a great friend of mine for a lot of years, and I know that I'm not alone when I say that it's been an honor being his friend, competing against him, and witnessing what Pete's doing these days on the lanes is pretty spectacular. I was fortunate enough to call the greatest U.S. Open in bowling history when Pete won last year. I was fortunate enough to call him winning the TSC this year, and it's the kind of stuff that you never forget, and it's just memories that that I'll take with me forever, and all due to this guy here. And I think Bob Hart said it best. The public really doesn't know Pete Weber. I do, and so do you, and so does Tim Mack. But the public just sees what they see on television. The fiery Pete Weber. They don't see him for what he really is, which is an unbelievable competitor. But one of the things they don't know about Pete is that Pete's the first guy to shake your hand when you beat him.
Yep.
The first guy.
That's one really good thing that I've learned from my dad. I am a gracious loser.
Yep. I mean,
I will not root against you, and I will always congratulate you when you beat me.
first guy to shake your hand when you beat him, first guy to say congrats when you beat him, and so just exudes sportsmanship and a great trait that he got from his father, Dick.
Randy, I have to say that over the years of listening to you on the ESPN show, you've been very kind to me over the years. You haven't said anything bad about me. You always have something great to say about me, and I want to thank you for that, because that just, when I get to watch it and hear some of the comments you make, me and Tracy just bust out laughing, and we think it's great, and thank you very much. And it's been an honor and privilege to be your friend, too.
Thanks, buddy. And, you know, I speak from the heart. One of the things that I learned when I first started doing television, Pete, was that if I spoke the truth, nobody could come back at me. And everything that I say about you is the truth. Maybe I am a little biased because it's you and you're my friend, but all of the comments, everything I say about you on television it comes from the heart, but it's also the truth, and it's just a pleasure to be able to do it. I'm truly blessed to be able to do it, and you know.
Well, I know you're never at a loss for words. And,
forget about the fact that you're my good friend. It's just, you know, I thank you.
He's like a dog on a fire hydrant. Look out.
He's sweating so bad he's got malaria.
Yeah, I think that was my co-host, wasn't it?
It's great to listen to you on the
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
it.
Thanks, Pete.
And hey, guys, thanks for being part of this InsideBowling.com broadcast. It's such a treat to have you guys willing to take the time to come in. Pete, have a safe trip home, buddy. And when we come back, Randy, you'll be joining us after the break.
Yep.
And we'll be talking to some of these great other guests here live from Bowl Expo here in Las Vegas, Nevada. We'll be back in about a half an hour live here from the Storm booth. Mike, take it away with some music, and we'll see you in just a little bit.